evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the second race of Season 59 of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. Here for the first race of the season under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. I'm Seth Cole, alongside of Michael Norman. And Michael, a rather chaotic start to the season last week at Talladega, but it was the first race of the season. Everybody was at equal standing, just trying to accumulate as many points as they could for kind of giving themselves a standing ground here for the remainder of the regular season. Now, everybody has gotten either good points or maybe not the points that they were looking for in the season opener. What's the strategy here tonight now in the second race?
Honestly, it should be the same as the first one, Seth. The strategy should be get to the front, hit your pit stops, every single one of them, and be out front when it counts to win this race. You know, some people like to play it cool. We've seen these drivers run a completely caution-free race. We've seen a race run here that was full of cautions. So you can't really predict when the cautions are, and you don't want to be in the back too very long. I mean, we got a full 42 car field. Actually, we had about 45-ish cars, I think, show up to try to make the 42 or the 40 car field? Yeah, 40 car field minus us two. So it's going to be all over the place here tonight. So it should be for a very interesting race.
And with that full field, as you just alluded to, that means there are a lot of points on the table here tonight, either to be gained or lost. So depending on if you did well in the season opener or didn't do so well, that might also play into what kind of a strategy you're going to adapt in tonight's race. Now, in the past season, last season, this racetrack held a very prevalent spot in the schedule. It was where the regular season finale was run, which determined the playoffs grid. It was where each one of the elimination rounds of the playoffs, where that was run, and of course at the end of the season it determined our champion. With there being now 9 regular season races here in season 59 as opposed to the 8 we had back in season 58, this racetrack is not going to be in as prevalent a spot. So also going to be interesting to see how aggressive drivers will be here at this racetrack than they were last season, as we're getting ready here for drivers to roll off of pit road. Truck number 1 gets position number 1 here tonight. It's Jeremy Jeffries lining up on the pole here this evening. He'll be alongside of Kelly Causey in row number 1. Doug Hewlick, who, by the way, won the very first race here at BSR Raceway last season. He's going to roll off third place alongside of last week's winner and current points leader, the former champion Chuck McClure. Grant Wesley is going to complete the top 5. He shares row number 3 with Bob Seminara. Cy Jones and Terry Bombard, they're in row number 4 with Ron Hagelin and Dave Melson completing the top 10.
Who's really in top 10?
And Dave Melson completing the top 10. You are a ghost car, sir. Row 6 is Bobby Farrell and Bernie Mobbs. Wiley Coate and Tim Nofsker, they're row 7. Row 8 is going to find Jim Black and Dante Ricky. Row 9 with Josh Metallic and Keith Bynum. And then Milt Surratt completes the top 20 with Joe DeSpirito. Back in row 11 is JT Mayhew and former champion Doug Woolley. Row 12, Doug Cady and Brian Schilling. Mark Paglia, he's back in row 13 with Jerem Lewis. Row 14 will be John Godfrey and Rodney Sullins. Jeff Crivello, he's going to be back in 29th with Billy Ellis. They're completing the top 30. Donnie Garrett missed last week's race, but he's making his first start of the season. He'll be back in 31st place alongside of Glenn Harris in row 16. Row 17 with Chris Emery and Tom Dixon. Jessica Shelton, she'll be back in the 35th position alongside of Bob Dixon in row 18. Row 19, Kem Roberts very deep in the field along with Greg Palmer. They're 37th and 38th, and then Jim Gloud and John Forgione making his first start of the season. They will complete the 40 truck field here this evening. I think we had 5 cautions in last week's season opener. Be interesting to see if we're going to see the yellow flag wave at least that number of times, maybe more here this evening. You alluded to it though, Michael. We have actually in the past run a completely green flag race here at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway, so we'll have to wait and see which side of the spectrum we're going to be on at the conclusion of this 66 lapper.
Yeah, and not only that, but Talladega, you're used to seeing the outside lane be the one that everyone loves to go on and race at. Here at Burnt Screwdrivers, it's actually a bottom line racetrack, but the problem with that is you can only run there for so long before your car actually begins to push up off the bottom line up towards the middle lane. And speaking from experience, because I have raced on this racetrack before, you're good if you can get it in there, but coming out, you're having to turn the wheel a lot more, thus giving the outside lane the better run on the straightaways.
40 cars. Let's see how anxious they're going to be to try and get that third lane possibly going, maybe even a fourth lane. It can hold them 4 wide here. It's not necessarily advised, but with so many drivers in the field and a lot of drivers not getting that good track position here at the beginning of this race, they may have a little sense of desperation to get themselves past that proverbial eye of the storm where the big one could be luminous. We're already going 3 wide. Uh-oh, Grant Wesley warping, and no Doug Hewlick. Big save for the 23.
He's going to have to come back up, but he's going to come up into everybody back there.
Oh, no. He got Joe DeSpirito, I think, and Jerm Lewis, and we're wrecking. We may get a restart. I'm not certain. We might. We'll have to wait and see.
I wonder if they'll do it for a broadcasted race.
I
know
certain.
Sometimes they don't.
Honestly, I wouldn't go against them doing that, to be honest. I'm not certain. We'll go back and see if we don't have a reset here of how that started. We saw Grant Wesley blink out for a moment. I don't know if that was what caused Doug Hewlick to go around or if he got a bad bump there down the back straightaway.
I'm not necessarily sure if he was on the brakes. He might have been letting it coast. Let's see what happened. Oh, yeah, he got a bad bump. He was moving up the track, I think, just slightly, and there was a car to his outside. I'm not entirely sure who. I think that was McClure. McClure to his outside. McClure was already there. He came up just slightly, maybe trying to fit into a hole, and that just wasn't quite there.
Mentioned Doug Hewlick had a great run here the very first time that the Cali Challenge was at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Ended up making it on a fuel strategy call. Only had to cross about 100 feet to the start-finish line from his pit stall. There you see it. It looks like the 23 moved up, though, in reaction to the 88 potentially blinking there. Oh, man, that's Jerm Lewis. I see Billy Elliser. Donnie Garrett took a big hit. Jessica Shelton. Glenn Harris there. Jim Glaude. Greg Palmer. See if we can get another camera angle here. See if we can go on board with somebody that was behind this. Maybe Bob Seminara or Terry Bombard. Yeah, I think Seminara was directly behind this. Let's go on board with the 712 and see what he saw. There's the onboard.
Yeah, it was just raw. I think he tried to go up to the outside lane or something, and just didn't realize how close the 17 car was. Not entirely sure exactly why he was trying to move up that high, but he was able to save it, but he just wasn't really able to hit the brakes and slow down enough to not come back up onto the racetrack.
Here's the thing I want to do as well. I want to go from the helicopter view and focus on the 23 because it didn't look like anybody really was giving him a lane to be able to merge back up, but at the same time, I wonder if he might have been carrying a little bit too much speed going into turn 3. Let's take a look here and see. There's the contact. A great save there by Doug Hewlick. That car or truck probably should have gone down and nosed into the inside wall. But watch right here. You can see a lot of drivers on that inside line not able to let him back up. And no, I don't think he carried too much speed. He just wasn't given a lane. And unfortunately, they were kind of stacked up 3 wide, several rows deep. Looked like he may have been trying to fit up in front of the 24 of Joe DeSpirito.
Yeah, looking at the helicopter cam myself, I mean, it was just, they were already very close as it was, and he just drifted up just that little bit, and it just got into the 17's fender.
Jim Glaude started this race from the last row, and he is already out of the race. Let's take a look at the onboard with the 72, see what kind of a hit he took. Here you see the incident up ahead. He's trying to find a way through. He's going to get Billy Elliser there in the 26. Pretty good shot there into the KFC machine. And it looks like there is smoke coming out from underneath the hood of that that truck, so. Oh, maybe not.
Out early.
Yep, out early. No, there's actually no smoke. I thought I saw a little bit of lingering smoke there on the hood of the Folgers Ford F-Series, but that front end damage gonna take him out of the race. He's the only driver at this point in time listed with a DNF, and actually, I actually go against myself because I actually just saw before we cut away to our replay screen, I did actually see that there was smoke coming out from the back there. Tough break there for Jim Gloud, who finished 40th here tonight, working our first caution of the evening here. Turn 3, lap 1 at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. We did have, it looks like about maybe 15 drivers came down pit road. A number of them, obviously, to get some damage repaired. Like 25th place on down came to pit road, including Rodney Sullins, Bob Dixon, Jessica Shelton, Tom Dixon, Doug Woolley, Jerm Lewis. I know a lot of these drivers that I'm listing, they were involved in the incident. Grant Wesley also was on pit road there. Was a little bit surprised, to be honest, to see that Grant Wesley was blinking under green flag conditions. I've seen a couple of races, been a part of a couple of races where he's had the blinking warping issue under pacing, but then it settles out once we get to green flag racing. So I saw him blinking when they rolled off the grid. That seemed normal at the time, but to see him blinking there under the green flag, that's slightly concerning, because we know Grant, he likes to go to the front, stay at the front, but more often than not, when you're blinking under green flag conditions, the admins usually put out the request that you drop to the back.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Jeffries creating a little chaos here. Everybody having to swap lanes because he's going to come to pit road at the 1 to green from the lead. So a little interesting strategy there from the driver of the Oreo Chevrolet. Lights out atop the pace truck. And we will go green this next time by. Kelly Causey looks like he's still trying to figure out which lane he wants to start in. He would be the leader, so he would get choice. He's choosing the bottom. So Seminara will go to the top. Cy Jones, Chuck McClure, Dave Melson. That's going to be the top 5 with Terry Bombard, Bobby Farrell, Bernie Mobbs, Wiley Coate, and Josh Metallic. The top 10. Let's give a little love to a new paint scheme there in the field. How about that 31 of Bernie Mobbs, the Celsius Energy. Number 31 Dodge here tonight. Good looking ride.
Absolutely.
We'll get the restart here.
Different paint schemes out there too. You know, this is a very enjoyable race. Nice early on. Hopefully things will settle down now here. It just seems to be a bit of a 3-wide. A bit up there. Looks like there is a truck. That
Ken Roberts back there.
Oh, I can't see. It's Chris Emery. Unless it's supposed to be painted that way.
It is actually.
Unsponsored 000.
Kind of interesting the way I was looking at that car. It's interesting with the grill too, because it's kind of like they outlined the grill to look, I don't know, almost 2D-ish. It's interesting. It's an interesting wrap that they've got on that 000.
Josh Metallic looking at his Tony Kanaan tribute scheme.
Yeah, we went to school during the All-Star race weekend as to what that livery was.
Well, you did. I already knew.
Oh, and you didn't tell me?
Nope.
You just kept me in the dark. Kept me ignorant. Well, they're not keeping these drivers in the dark. That's why we got lights at BSR. Great segue. Here we go. Green flag back in the air on lap number 6. Kelly Causey going to be in control with Bob Seminara. Let's come down to that second lane of who's going to be the better pusher here, as Causey, a little bit of an edge, but a little separation from Cy Jones. There you see the big shove from the 17 to the back of the 712.
Well, now Kelly Causey's got to move up to the outside lane, and he is.
Cy Jones, left side's on that yellow line. Ooh, that's not good. That's going to scrub off some speed there and stack him up the front bumper of Dave Melson and Bobby Farrell. Someone's making a move up there 3 wide. Is that Keith Bynum, I think, in the 63?
See if anyone up. He's got no help with him.
And he's going to start dropping back. Keith was 14th on the restart. This will drop him probably outside of the top 20. Next time that they come around here, the start-finish line. Top 4 clear on the outside line. Chuck McClure and Terry Bombard now. Side-by-sides for 5th. Bernie Mobbs on the top. Cy Jones on the bottom.
See if any one of these drivers are going to activate that special taco seasoning.
We're also going to have to see if anybody... It didn't look like a whole lot of drivers took heavy contact in that wreck over in Turn 3, but moderate damage can be deceiving. Something that doesn't look like it's going to be that bad of a hit can actually produce aero damage, maybe even engine damage. We'll have to see as we settle in potentially to a long green flag run if any drivers will break off from the lead pack and be a couple miles per hour off the pace. Looks like everybody, for the moment, top 39, remaining 39, are within 2.5 seconds of each other, all still in this lead group.
I think that's going to be my number one question for all these, for the top 3, is how'd you like the taco seasoning out there?
The taco seasoning. And yet it's an inside joke, and they won't have a clue what we're talking about.
Yep, not at all.
Whoa, Dante Ricky. I don't know if he's trying to make a move or if he's getting out of dodge. With a dodge to his inside there of Wiley Coat. I think he's dropping back.
Segue.
Thank you. I kind of meant it and kind of didn't mean it. It just happened. Mark Paglia now going to move in behind Tim Nofsker. That'll clear the top 8. Jim Black right behind him as well in that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Cy Jones continuing to lead that inside line with Bobby Farrell and John Godfrey, but they are going nowhere but backwards right now. They have no numbers down there. Everybody's kind of migrating up to that middle line. Now we're starting to get an inside line a little bit further up. Metallic, Wiley Coat, Tim Nofsker, Mark Paglia going to try and make a charge on the top 5.
Yeah, on the inside there comes Metallic, and I mean, like I said, the inside lane can work for a while, but once you start getting on the worn tires a little bit, your car just starts to drift up. You kind of, if you're going to do a low line, you're going to want to be kind of where Metallic was, right in the straightaway, just kind of straddling that line, because then your truck won't pull up as much off the corner. And if you do that, but you run a risk of running into the car in front, next to you, and causing a big accident.
And we've talked about this in the past as well as to what might lead to that. I mean, you've also run the Talladega track that they run here every other week, and I personally feel that there is a little bit more pull-up off of 2 here at BSR than there is at Talladega. One reason could be we run Burt Screwdriver's Raceway under the lights, nighttime conditions. Talladega is run during the day, so you've got a little bit more grip and a little bit more added speed as a result. So,
well, Seth, actually, contrary to what you just said, when the track is actually cooler, it has more grip than it does during the day. Hotter the track, the slicker it is.
Right, which is why I'm saying more speed carried into the corner and off of the corner might lead to a more exacerbated pull up off of turn 2.
Right, and it would be more during the daytime that you would feel that more than nighttime.
Really?
Yeah. Slicker racetrack. During the day, slicker racetrack.
I would have thought that the higher speeds would have made maybe the right front heat up more and make it tighter off the corner. Well, we'll let that one simmer on the back burner for a while. Meanwhile, at the front, Kelly Causey, Bob Seminara, and Chuck McClure, your top 3. We talked with Chuck last week after picking up that checkered flag that snapped a winless streak going all the way back to mid-2022 for him. Asked him what the strategy was down the remainder of this regular season, whether it was to find victory lane again or focus on the consistency to remain at the top of the point standings, get the regular season championship bonus points. And he said, well, both, to be honest. So bet that 17, if he's up here at the front here near the end of this race, he will be going for it. And how important is it for these drivers, especially in the early portion of the season, since we now have an extra regular season race as opposed to last season, for drivers to be able to either point or win their way into the playoffs, to get that checkered flag early on in the year, kind of get that weight off your shoulders, that load off of your mind, and just be able to then go for the rest of the regular season with the goal of, find as many checkered flags before we get to the playoffs, and just make sure you keep that thing inside the top 20 in points to maintain that playoff spot.
Yeah, that's the most important part is, yeah, you want to win, but, extra wins means a lot here. You're not just having one. One takes the pressure away, but multiple wins could make you a legitimate threat. But at the same time, having that win already, your priority goal should be to maintain being in the top 10 so that win still counts.
Dave Melson trying to get to the inside of Bernie Mobbs. He'll throw a block. Donnie Garrett, he was involved in that first caution, but obviously the damage not enough to slow down the Astroglide Chevrolet. He's now 7th, I believe, on the board. Yes, indeed, he is, behind Dave Melson. Mark Paglio getting a run there on the top side. He's picked up Ken Roberts. Yes, it is, in the 55. Now Paglio jumps down to the middle line with Jim Black. Appreciate everybody tuning into our coverage here tonight. MWB7 Pit in the chat says, wow, full field, you love to see it. And if you didn't join us at the top, Michael alluded to the fact that they actually had to do knockout qualifying here tonight. 44 drivers showed up to fill the 40-car field. 4 drivers had to go home. So big field here tonight, and pretty impressive here. I know I'm going to get some flack from our broadcast colleague Matt McIntyre for poking the bear, tempting fate, but we had that early caution on the first lap. Since then, we've been green and might get around a green flag pit stop. Stop. I said it.
I'm trying to take the excitement away from
I said it. We went back green on lap 6.
Oh, so I also want to. I'm going to say this because you said you give him flack for it. There was supposed to be a 45th driver attempting to make this race, but he was too lazy to even try to make it. So I'm not sure if he's ever commentated for us, because I know he talked about it, maybe never showed up. But Cody Lamas, if you're out there watching, you should have been here.
If for no other reason you tune into next week's race, tune in to see if we badgered Cody Lamas enough to actually get into the field at Talladega next week.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the action here.
And
it got exciting for a second. There was a big 3 wide up towards the front here, but now settled back down to double wide.
And a reason for that could potentially be, I'm looking, remember I mentioned that, the top 24, I think, stayed out under the early yellow, which means that they could probably have saved about a lap of fuel, which would push their number to around lap 20 when they would have to come to pit road. Everybody else would have to come to pit road somewhere between laps 23 to 26. The driver I think that could go maybe to lap 26 would have been Jeremy Jeffries, who came to pit lane at the 1 to green. So there's going to be some split groups here coming to pit road, some about 2-3 laps sooner than others.
Yep, that's very true. It's going to be a variance of strategies here, so it should be interesting to see.
You see Kelly Causey, Bob Seminare, and Chuck McClure jumping down to the bottom. That's indicative of the fact that they're only a few laps away from when they're going to come to pit road, get that safer entry on the low lane onto the access road, onto the apron, to be able to get onto pit lane. Question is, though, who else is going to be able to be, or it's going to be coming down with them? If you're wondering, of the drivers that came to pit lane under that caution, who has been able to pick up the most spots? Rodney Sullins restarted in the 25th position. Last time by, he was scored in 12th, so he has picked up 13 spots since we went back green on lap number 6. The only other driver up inside of the top 20 that came to pit road under that caution period, Jessica Shelton, last time by, scored in 16th.
Whom I just heard over the radio has about 7 laps projected left, so probably about 6 now. So
about lap 24, I guess we could assume that most of the drivers that came to pit lane under the first lap of caution would be able to go. That would include Rodney Sullins, Jerm Lewis, Ron Hagelin, Glenn Harris. Some of the drivers that we might see, some of the last ones to hit pit road, already mentioned Jeremy Jeffries, but also Jeff Crivello and JT Mayhew, I think, also came to pit road at the 1 to green. So they'd be able to go maybe another lap or 2 laps further, depending on if they were able to save some fuel under this green flag run.
That's why she's in the high lane here, which she's got nothing to worry about, at least for another six or so laps. But as I said, I'm moving down the inside. We'll see if that wears out your tires more, because I mean, no matter what, you've got to come in for a full service anyway, so you might as well get tires. But Seth, I mean, me and you've done strategies before. Even taking 2 cans of gas, you don't always need. Oh boy!
Whoa, is that Knopfsker getting out of shape back there?
That
Yikes.
was.
I don't know what happened there mid-pack, but there's Side Jones on the apron. Yeah, Knopfsker, I think he had his left sides down the apron.
Lighting up here. Radio's lighting up. Here we come.
Here we go. McClure, Paglia, Metallic, Knopfsker, Schilling, Ken Roberts, and Wiley Coe. Correction, not Ken Roberts. That's actually Milt Surratt on pit lane. Somewhat similar red, yellow, and white paint schemes for the 80 and the 55. Going to have to pick those ones out as to who is who.
I wonder if these cars can hot pit here, because they came in actually pretty conservative. They were at 55 right when they hit that line.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, they can hot pit, but I have it on good authority from several drivers that the approach to hot pitting at Talladega is entirely different from the approach to hot pitting here at BSR. If you use the same approach here as you use at Dega, you're going to get a black flag. So they do have to be a little bit more conservative on how they get to pit road here at Burt Screwdriver's Raceway. We got, it looks like a duo coming down pit road this time. Cy Jones and that Chris Emery up in the 000.
Well, Seth, you have the telemetry, so if anybody gets a black flag, be sure to let us know.
Yes, indeed. So far, so good. We've only had about 9 drivers on pit lane. I think that we're going to see a big chunk of this lead group coming to pit road this time. Like about 15 of the top 20 did not come to pit road under the only caution up to this point. Brian Schilling gonna go a lap down, but to get that lap back here once everybody cycles around. There's Wiley Coe just up ahead. These drivers have already been to pit lane. I think the race leader is coming in this time.
Oh boy, they're going all. Oh boy!
Jim Black spinning back up the track. Ron Hagelin is spinning to the inside.
That should have brought out a yellow. I'm pretty sure the yellow flag is out at this point. It is.
Yes, it is.
Not sure. Tim Knopfsker was also spun coming into pit road as
all these drivers are taking service. Why are they taking? They can't take service.
If some of them were on pit road went before the caution came out.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. If you are on pit road, it doesn't matter if you've crossed the commitment line. You have to pass through pit lane. The Monera spun in the infield grass. Jim Black spun onto the racetrack, and Ron Hagelin spun to the inside wall. The 77 is going to probably get a 30-second penalty and have to drop to the back, as he did take service there when the caution was out. I think it's you have to be in your pit stall taking service at the time of caution. Anytime before that, you cannot take service when the yellow flag is out, now, whether or not you cross the commitment line.
Is that an NR rule or an RTG rule?
That's an NR rule.
I guess I'll find out.
Harry Bombard and a bunch of these drivers going to be able to pit under the caution, which isn't necessarily going to be a helpful thing, because anybody that stayed on the lead lap, they'll obviously stay out if they've already taken service, and they will cycle up to the front of the field. Go back and see what happened. I don't think there was any contact made to the 58 of Jim Black. Looked like he just locked up maybe the rear tires and spun it around. And then you had Ron Hagelin. I think he locked up the brakes, spun to the inside. Bob Seminara, however, him spinning into the grass, there might have been contact involved in that one. So let's take a look at all 3 of the incidents. We'll begin with the one that I believe did bring out the yellow flag, and that would be the 58 of Jim Black. Oh, he might actually gotten a little bit of help, actually. I take that back. Let's go back to the exit of turn 4. Watch behind him. Ron Hagelin. Yep. Got him in the back bumper. Jim's trying to save it, Boy, we got very lucky that he spun out after most of the field had already passed by. You see Shelton and John Forgione and Keith Bynum and Bobby Farrell all swerve back to the right. Do not come to pit road. So they didn't have to do a pass through and were able to probably gain some pretty valuable track position as a result. Let's see now the view from Ron Hagelin. He get a little bit of help here, or does he just lock up the brakes? Nope, he just locked them up. Right front lockup turns into the inside wall. Light contact with the front end. A little surprised he decided to come down pit lane. He had plenty of time to be able to swerve around the commitment cone. And now let's take a look and see what happened with Bob Seminara much further up. Wonder if Seminara saw the caution and tried to swerve back off of pit lane and maybe didn't make it. He's behind Kelly Causey here. And nope. Like the back end was coming around on him as he was locking up the rear tires, and he got into the right rear quarter panel, or the side, of Kelly Causey, and that spun him through the grass. We'll try and get everything updated as to who is where after this. I believe everybody was running on the lead lap at the time of this caution. Nobody would have to take the free pass, I do not believe. Again, we'll update you on that. Got some drivers coming to pit lane here. Brian Schilling, Cy Jones, Dave Melson, Donnie Garrett. Jim Black is going to be done for the evening, looks like. He is going to get credited for the 39th position.
Okay, apologies for having to step away there. Any updates on the cars that took service?
So the 77's back down pit road. I'm not certain if that's to serve the penalty or not. We're kind of waiting for everything to recycle around. Front of the field looks a little bit different, though. Chris Emery is now the race leader. Remember, he came down pit road with Cy Jones in a 2-car pit party, and he's going to, as a result, cycle out to the front. Got McClure, Mark Paglia, Josh Metallic, Tim Nofsker, like they're going to be the top 5. And yep, there it is. 77 Donnie Garrett did get a black flag, so he will have to drop to the tail end of the line for taking service there under that caution period. I'm just now noticing, are my eyes deceiving me, or is the 7 of Doug Cady, the 007, is that a Denali?
Oh, let me try that again. What number?
007. No, that's a Cadillac Escalade. What in the world?
Oh, it is. I see that now. I was wondering why that looked a little different.
I saw the grill, and my brain stopped trying to figure out what that was.
Okay, Ed, calm down.
Huh. Well, like Brian Schilling, Cy Jones, they actually are going to be the lucky dogs here. They'll get back in the lead lap, and that should put all 38 drivers remaining back on the lead lap. While we've got another lap of pacing here, we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break from the sponsor, Ultimate Garage Floors. We'll take you side by side and be back here for the green. The following presentation of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series on the Flatout Racing Network is brought to you by Ultimate Garage Floors. Ultimate Garage Floors is very active in the garage remodeling community, staying current with the latest technologies and custom configurations so that we can bring you the highest quality installations. As a Northern Virginia Exposy flooring installer, we focus on garages and commercial flooring to perfect our craft and bring you high results. In a space that gets as much wear and tear as your garage, you want to be able to trust that the cabinets and flooring we install are ready to withstand against high traffic and regular use. That is why we include a lifetime warranty with our services, so that you know we stand behind the quality of our work. To get started with a free consultation, call us at 540-931-9006 or visit us on the web at ultimategaragefloorsva.net. That's ultimategaragefloorsva.net. va.net. Getting ready to go back green. Lap 26 will go up on the board, working our second caution of the evening here at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. We gave you the top 5 before we went to commercial break. From Nofsker on back, it's Milt Surratt, Wiley Coate, Rodney Summons, Grant Wesley, and Terry Bombard. That is your top 10. JT Mayhew, Doug Cady, Glenn Harris, Greg Palmer, John Godfrey, your top 15. And then Doug Hewlick, Jeff Crivello, Dante Ricky, Bob Dixon, and Doug Woolley. That is the top 20. 38 drivers remain, all 38 on the lead lap. Jim Black, Jim Gloud, the only 2 back in the garage area.
And that's a lot of gyms.
Yeah, it's a bad night to be a Jim, I guess.
Where's Slim Jim?
In my belly. I wish. Had Slim Jim last week. Does that count?
Joy, I was just informed that Mr. Joe DeSpirito has no second gear.
Oh man, and you can see it back there. That's the black truck on that inside line, quite close to the back of the pack. You can see very slow there, stacking up that inside line.
Is there a wreck back there? I just heard what sounded like spinning. Somebody did not get going.
Yellow flag is out. Jeremy Jeffries, the pole sitter, was in it. Kelly Causey, who's led the most laps so far tonight. Keith Bynum's got roof damage in the 63. I think he might have tumbled down the banking. Ron Hagel and Dave Melson all involved as well. Somebody smoking there? No, I think that's just the lighting.
No, it is. No, it's Keith Bynum. The 63 is spinning. Was heard over the grapevine that somebody did not get a good restart. Oh man, the 63 went flipping.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Saw that roof damage there above the driver's side.
Oh, the 63 got turned by the 31.
Go back, take a look at what happened. Frozen field. Chris Emery was the leader at the time of caution. Third caution of the night.
Yeah, he hit the back.
It was Tom Dixon was the truck that didn't get going.
Yeah, Tom Dixon didn't get going. The 45, and then the 63 got shoved from the 31. Bumper grabbed off the back of the 45 and turned right back up in the traffic.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I think the 45 might have lost second gear as well. That looked, it almost looked like he and the 24. Yeah, he and the 24 looked like they had identical restarts there, and we know the 24 had no second gear.
Well, maybe he lost third gear or something, because that's about the part of the racetrack where you shift up to third.
Wild ride there for Keith Bynum. It's turned from the 31, and then the 24 of Joe DeSpirito just kind of pushes him sideways through 1 and 2. Here's a look at it again.
And then flipping on down the racetrack.
Dave Melson, John Forcione, Ron Hagelin all involved. Kelly Causey, I don't think he really got involved. He just spun in the grass. You can't really see the campers' motorhomes blocking the view there of the barrel roll from the 63. Jeremy Jeffries, let's see how he was involved. He was back here along with Kelly Causey. Here's how the pole sitter got involved. Oh, he got a little tap from behind by Kelly Causey and then made contact with the 63 of Bynum, who you'll see there on the left side of your screen, barrel rolling off into the grass. I don't know if it's going to tell us much. See if we can go inside the cockpit of the 45.
You might be able to hear it if you might be able to hear it if you did. Oh, we got trouble on pit road up here. The 92 of Bobby Farrell. I'm not sure if I think he made contact with the 31. Someone trying to come out while he was going in. I don't know.
Oh, there was your answer right there, Michael. That thing was redlining. Couldn't tell what gear he was trying to shift into, though. The telemetry on our end does not always show the exact gear that a driver is actually shifting to. Sometimes it's just based off the miles per hour.
You can tell he blew it by just how the tachometer is going. he shifted into third, and it just didn't go. It broke.
Back up here, that was a big reason for a number of the cautions last week at Talladega was stack-ups on restarts. I think about 3 cautions took place because of restart stack-ups around the mid-pack to rear of the field. And here tonight, the reason for the 3rd yellow flag of the evening, as we have crossed over the third of the way threshold and are fast approaching halfway through this race. That'll be in the next 5.5 laps or so. Keith Bynum, after that wild ride down the banking of 1 and 2, he is now back in the garage area, joining Jim Black and Jim Gloud. No lucky dogs under this caution. The drivers, 38 at the time that were remaining, were on the lead lap. 37 drivers still on the racetrack at this point in time. And how about Grant Wesley back up here? Looks like the connection problems he had in the opening stages of the race have settled out. And now he is going to, looks like, restart in P2 once we get back underway behind Chris Emery. Bob Dixon's up to 3rd, Doug Woolley 4th, Tom Dixon right now being scored in 5th, but I think he just hit pit road. So now Ken Roberts would move up to 5th, Donnie Garrett 6th, Kelly Causey 7th. 8th place would be Chuck McClure, as now our scoring updates itself. Ken's actually up to 4th. Garrett in 5th, Causey 6th, McClure 7th, Nofsker, Sullins, and Bombard completing the top 10. Not a whole lot of lap leaders so far here tonight. I think 5 drivers have taken a turn out in front. Kelly Causey has led the most laps with 17. Leader Chris Emery is about to complete his 7th lap out in front once he hits the start-finish line. 3 laps led for pole sitter Jeremy Jeffries, and then 1 lap led apiece by Terry Bombard and Billy Elliser. Well,
also, just to 100% confirm our suspicions, he did lose 3rd gear.
Okay, so confirmation on that. So that's 2 drivers now that we know have had gear failures, all in the same restart. 2nd gear for Joe DeSpirito and 3rd gear for Tom Dixon. You don't want to lose a gear at all when it's a super speedway, but like in personal opinion, which do you think is the most manageable gear of those 2 to lose?
2nd.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
You could restart in 1st, shift up to 3rd, and kind of just hope that somebody pushes you a little bit to get your momentum going.
I don't remember how close together 2nd and 3rd gear are, but I almost wonder if you could maybe get enough of a rolling start in 3rd gear.
I think you still at some point have to have a shove. Also,
Yeah.
There's somebody not in the outside. I was going to say, I thought we were coming to the green for a second. My eyes deceived me.
Yeah, that'll be Donnie Garrett. I think that's going to fill in that space. Nope, correction, Ken Roberts. They'll fill that space up on the outside here once we do get the 1 to green, which should be this time by. Again, appreciate everybody that's tuning into our coverage here tonight from Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Reminder, next Thursday night, 59th season of the RTG Talladega Challenge Series continues on. We head back to Talladega Super Speedway. Green flag will fly at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also getting close to that point of the season, Michael, where we have the race within the race. The Bracket Challenge is nearly upon us here, where these drivers will face off in a bracket tournament style. There's the winner's bracket, there's the loser's bracket. We have the final near the end of the season to be able to crown a bracket championship. I mean,
and then there's the participation trophy. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I've won that so many times. And I didn't even participate. So how does that work?
Taco seasoning.
I feel like there should be not a you tried ribbon, but a you attempted to try ribbon. You tried to try ribbon.
What are you talking about? We don't give ribbons to failures, only winners.
You're right. I'm too depressed to commentate now. Thanks, I appreciate that. Anyway, a lot of neon yellow on the front row.
It's all right. I'll take over from here.
If you can't see the front row, you're blind. Because
if you can't see the front row, it's obviously John Cena.
If you can't see the front row, then you're colorblind to neon yellow.
No, it's wow. Those trucks really are purple out there. It came out of the purple.
John Cena is really. Did you just really make that joke?
I did. I made that reference.
This is what I have to put up with, folks. Anyway,
This is why we're such a great commentary team.
that's true. That is true.
We are the most unprofessional professionals out there. Or at least I am. Seth is. I give props. Matt, our broadcast owner, I guess you can call him owner, was great to pick out Seth for broadcasting. But I'm just here for comic relief to make sure he doesn't get too serious.
You're just here so you don't get fined.
Pretty much. I almost did get fined. I almost got FRN fined.
Moving on, Chris Emery gets us back under the green flag.
Let it be known that I will never make that mistake again.
Saw Grant Wesley have a blink moment there under pacing. Hopefully that's not going to be an indicator of him maybe blinking here under green. We had that happen on the first lap of the race. Going to stay tight to the passenger side door of Chris Emery, and it's going to have a nice run and maybe a big push here from Ken Roberts down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Chris tried to get up to the middle lane, but Grant was able to just stay on his side right there and get the run off the corner.
There's some fast trucks up in that middle line now. Kelly Causey, Chuck McClure.
But 190, he just got up to speed on the bottom lane, and yet the outside lane's already at 195. That just explains the miles per hour difference from one lane to the other.
Yeah, and that push-up that we keep talking about off of turn 2, that scrubs off about a mile per hour or two of your straightaway speed, which is another reason why the middle line and then sometimes we see even that third lane are so much stronger because they can carry the momentum, maybe even increase the speed off the corner onto the straights.
Just that little.
Whoa! Jerm Lewis sliding back there, just outside of the top 20. Looks like he saved it in the 6:16.
This still is what about this series? I put second place on my list of really crazy super speedway races. Next to the one league we commentated for, not the old '88 Aero cars at Daytona. Watch all sideways every lap.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was on the iRacing side though. That was the I can't remember what that series was called now. The one that Jeff Green was in.
Yep.
Was it G-Force?
Might have been.
I think it was G-Force.
G-Force Aero 88 cars?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Got the top 11 or 12 now, single filed out. Wide.
Back about the 95 and the 000 car where it starts getting double.
Yeah,
maybe not triple.
Metallic trying to lead an outside line, which for the moment was the third lane. Now with Emery tucking in line, that now becomes the second lane.
Well, I guess we can call him the Pod Piper of the Pied Piper of RTG, and that's Grant Wesley up once again at the front, because usually wherever Grant goes, everyone else follows.
Yeah, Grant Wesley, of course, two-time champion, defending champion of the series. He'd love to get back locked into the playoffs with a victory here tonight to defend his crown. Let's see John Forgione there, that 95 in the field here this evening. A regular over in the ECT, known by the name of Diesel, ECT Diesel.
I hope he's Italian.
I would not be surprised. I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe he is a fellow New Yorker like myself.
He's New York Italian. Got it.
I think so. Oh wow!
Don't they just call those people from Brooklyn? I'm walking here.
I might be wrong. I mean, you're more Italian than I am, so you might know this. Aren't there Italians in Yonkers?
I don't know.
Okay, glad we had this conversation and that you illuminated me.
The only thing I know about Italians is that we talk with our hands and come mostly from Brooklyn sometimes.
You talk with your hands and you stole the concept of pizza from the Greeks.
And made it better. I think
debatable. I've never had a Greek pizza.
All right, before we get sidetracked here.
Well, it's too late. We're already sidetracked. Let us know in the comments. Do you like Italian pizza or Greek pizza? Have you ever had a Greek pizza? Because I haven't. Tell me if it's good.
I was about to go into a whole tangent about Greeks making pizza with white sauce instead of red sauce, but I'm not going to go there.
Okay, but to be fair, white sauce is delicious.
I will not disagree with you.
Yeah, white sauce is good. Like,
I don't prefer it, but I will also not disagree and say that it's terrible.
right. If I'm given the choice between tomato sauce and white sauce, I will go with the tomato sauce. But I have had white sauce on a pizza before, and it actually is really good. Meanwhile, these guys are going 3 wide. All this 3 wide racing is making me hungry. That's Dante Ricky on the inside, the Mug Root Beer Toyota Tundra, which a Mug Root Beer would go really good with some pizza right now. Dante, you know, actually,
pizza after this race.
Actually, you know what? We're talking about food. It's a perfect segue to Dante because we already talked about this. Dante Ricky has a pre-race ritual where he always has something to eat before every race. We actually chimed in with him last week to find out what it was that he was eating. Wonder if he had Wawa tonight.
Well, the next time we get a caution, let's talk to him.
Yeah, maybe. If he finishes in the podium, we'll definitely be talking to him along with the other 2 drivers. As look at this.
There we go.
3 wide for the lead there down the back straightaway. Inside line, going to get the momentum.
Big wreck in the back. Big wreck in the back. See, I just had to mention the word caution, and there we go.
The Batmobile, Tom Dixon, Mark Paglia. That's a lot
there's a follow-up wreck up in the front. Doug Hewlett goes around.
Like he may have gone for a solo loop.
Well, there's the caution. We get to talk to Dante.
I think Dave Melson might have been involved. I see right side damage on the Wonder Bread Chevrolet.
Oh, yeah, the 99 and the 23 had a follow-up wreck.
Caution
the
out.
99 only was a follow-up wreck because he was trying to save his race car from the actual wreck.
And look at him, 7 wide down the back straightaway. Now, for those that don't know what's going on, let's just illuminate you. When the drivers catch the pace truck, they throw in the clutch to try and save fuel. That means that they are rolling. And they're all taking different lines to make sure they don't run each other over while they wait for the pace car to be able, or the pace truck to be able to catch up. So they all knew what they were doing. This is a super speedway trick.
I thought they were just trying to keep us on track with their racing.
They were just trying. They gave us 3 wide all the way back. They were trying to see if they could do it 7, 8 wide, several rows deep there. Past the halfway point, caution out, I think. Yeah, this is still outside of the fuel window for them to be able to make it the rest of the way. This has got them still about 6 or 7 laps short of reaching the finish if they fill up the tanks here under this caution period. Let's take you back to a replay of what brought out the yellow, and didn't see anything, but I'm assuming the driver that took the biggest hit in this would be the Motorcraft Ford and Mark Paglia, because I saw damage on the front, damage on the left, damage on the right.
Damage on your cow.
Oh, this happened up further. That was Bobby Farrell, John Godfrey. Oh, and nowhere for Paglia to go. There's Dave Melson. There's Tom Dixon. I thought I saw another driver get a piece of it as well. When we go back and look at the initial start of the wreck, we'll try and pinpoint who that was. By the way, the Mulan reference was not lost on me. I smiled.
I was going to say, he just ignored the Mulan
nope,
reference.
I smiled. Chain bump there.
Yeah.
Glenn Harris getting into the back of the 92, in turn getting into the 711.
And mostly it has a lot of these wrecks. I'm almost pretty sure that if there wasn't such a thing as bumper grab, that a lot of the wrecks that we see wouldn't happen.
Right.
Like if you could get a square bump on and hold it, a push down the straightaway without having to worry about a possible bumper grab. Also, just to point out, the 17 was in the wall just a bit ago. He might have tabbed out of his game, but if these car drivers would be able to hold the pushes and stuff like that.
Was on board with Doug Woolley. He was the one that came down, got Doug Hewlett, and the other driver that was involved that I was trying to pinpoint was the 616 of Jerm Lewis. Right there, he makes contact with the 99. 99 comes down to the 23. That was that follow-up wreck that Michael alluded to off of turn number 4. See if we can find that spot you were talking about with Chuck McClure up into the wall.
It was just coming off of pit road, and I think he might have tabbed out of his game, or it might have been tapped out, something like that.
Maybe got a black flag and was getting out of people's way, though I don't know why merge early.
Couple cars coming down pit road now. Going to give Dante Ricky the lead back, and Seth, our opportunity to talk to him would be now if you want to.
All right. It looks like McClure is coming back up to get his positions here. So yeah, you might have been right. Might have tabbed out or something. All right, let's see if we can dial up Dante here. Dante, it's the guys up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, that was a scary moment right there. I don't know what was going on with Chuck, but it looks like we're all sorted out. We're trying to get people back in the right position.
Yeah, we were noticing that as well there. But, yep, looks like he's alongside you now. But out in front here, the caution that came out in the middle of those green flag pit stops, looks like it worked to your benefit, gave you some good track position, and now leading this race, closing in on 25 laps to go. Obviously, looking like this Mug Root Beer Toyota Tundra is fast, but what do you think? Can you put this thing in victory lane?
We're having trouble staying up front tonight. The bigger issue has been working through traffic. Good time for the yellow flag. I made my move to the inside line a little early. Communication has been good with some drivers. It has not been good with other drivers. They're just trying to work together to get in the right lane at the right time. I made my move to the inside thinking the line would move right there. It didn't move immediately. It took about 4 or 5 laps for the 3 wide up top to even out the middle lane so that the bottom could move. I will say that we like the bottom of the track, but I'm not really comfortable up top with this BSR track for some reason compared to the V3. That's just a personal weakness per se. But we're going to continue to find Rodney and Bumby and Jeremy and a few others, and hopefully have a good finish to the race. We're still needing one more pit stop, though. We're not trying any fuel mileage gains at this point.
So now I got to ask you. Seth told me about the ritual that you do pre-race, and
Yes.
we were wondering
Oh,
what
boy.
you had, and we were wondering what
All
you
right.
had this today.
Well, the drivers don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you on the broadcast. Today, we're 2 days away from my 28th birthday, and myself and a couple of friends
Wow,
from
so
work on
young.
the news crew, yeah, I guess so. A couple of my friends on the news crew, we went to the Recovery Sports Bar and Grill here in Charleston. Now, Recovery is I'm going to call it a regional chain. They've got some locations in New Jersey, believe it or not. It's a sit-down restaurant, and today's meal was 6 large chicken tenders, blue cheese dressing, french fries, and a dessert of brownie cake with vanilla ice cream and chocolate syrup, and whipped cream.
And now I have to ask you, did you or did you not dip your fries in the blue cheese?
The fries, occasionally I will, but I do like ketchup and barbecue sauce as well. Occasionally I will put a couple fries in blue cheese just because of the taste. The taste difference is pretty good. I know some people probably aren't going to like me for that, but just a couple. Although blue cheese is usually for the meat, but it was really good. I still got 3 leftover tenders I have to eat though, so we didn't finish them all for once. And under the caution, I had to get a little bit of Pepsi because I'm tired, and Mug Root Beer with the sugar content is not really good for me. Neither is Pepsi per se. I got to really stop drinking soda.
Yeah, we ended up, full transparency, we decided to talk to you down there because we were actually just a few moments away. We were kind of having the discussion between pizza with red sauce, pizza with white sauce. So
Okay.
Don't ask us how we got to that topic. It just happened.
My favorite pizza is red pizza.
Okay.
You have to have marinara sauce. Now, I'm good with Brooklyn style. Sicilian pizza. You gotta try Sicilian pizza, folks.
Yes.
If you haven't had it,
I have.
so
My entire family lives off that.
That's
I
all we
will.
order from my local pizzeria, to
I'll
be
go to a
honest.
pizza place. I'll go there and get 5 slices of Sicilian just for me. It's that good.
It is indeed. Well, Dante, lights are out top of the page.
All
We'll
right.
let you get back to work.
Great stuff, guys.
And Dante talking about Recovery Sports and Grill. They actually do have a couple of them up in my neck of the woods here in New York. I've never been to them, but very rarely do I end up having somebody talk about a restaurant that I know what it is. So that was a nice change.
Very rarely does FRN ever talk about restaurants.
I know, that's true. So, does that mean that we're going to have a cooking channel The Flatout Cooking channel? Is that a thing? Flatout Cooking
I
Network?
don't know. Let's ask.
FCN.
Yeah, FC.
Make it happen. Green flag back in the air. Dante, Ricky, Chuck McClure, the front row. Rodney Sullins, Tim Nosker, and Josh Metallic were the top 5. And again, we're going back green before the pit window for these drivers to be able to make it the rest of the way. So some of these drivers might be hoping for a yellow flag in the next 5 to 7 laps. They could then make that final pit stop. If they don't, though, if they go green from here to the next round of pit stops, Michael, that's the money stop. So far, we've not had a full round of green flag pit stops. We had that second caution come out in the middle of the first attempt. Now, if it ends up coming down to the money stop here, things could get very dicey for this race victory.
Yeah, it very well could, and that's what's going to be interesting about this. We're keeping an eye out on this front pack here. It's going to be interesting to see how long it'll take the 88 truck to get back into the lead. And not only that, but see if we heard from Dante. He said he doesn't really like that middle line. So we'll see how long he's able to stay there, if at all. But you got Metallic on the inside trying to lead an inside line there. And Seth, if this was you, we just pit, go back green, know that you can't make it. Do you try the short pit?
No.
If you can get a group of you to go together, or do you just run it till you're next till you actually absolutely have to come down pit road?
Honestly, okay, so here's how I see it, and this is just based off of positioning in the field. If I'm running up at the front, I'm running until that thing is completely dry. That way I come to pit road, I don't spend nearly as much time on pit lane topping off the fuel tank, because it may not seem like much, but 3, 4, 5 seconds on pit road can translate to a lot of track position. However, going back to your question, the short pit strategy, maybe I try something like that if I'm running outside of the top 15 or the top 20. Why? Well, if I come down pit road early, take my service, come out and stay on the lead lap, and a caution comes out, guess what? Everybody else has to come down pit road. I leapfrog to the front of the field with staying out. So who knows? Maybe if drivers that are back in the second half of the pack here, they might adopt that strategy in the hopes of maybe gaining some track position late. That inside line is not working, though. There were about 3, 4, 5 down there, and now it's just Josh Metallic and John Forgione. Everybody has leapt up to that middle groove. Bernie Mobbs jumped up there. Bob Seminara, Terry Bombard jumped up there. Now you've got about your top 12, 13, I think, all lined up single file in that outside line. Dante Ricky leading this group. Sullins, McClure, Nofsker, and Grant Wesley right there. Again, the top 12 in points will be locked into the playoffs at the conclusion of race number 9, the final regular season race. If you're inside of the top 20 in points with a victory, you're locked into the playoffs. The top 12 in points, regardless of a win or not, are automatically locked in. Last year, we had 13 drivers make it into the playoffs. Doug Hulick was the only winner that was outside the top 12. I believe he was 14th in points, so he ended up being the 13th driver in battling for the championship. And with that extra 9th race there as well, it's not outside the realm of the possibility that we could have 9 races and 9 different drivers going to victory lane. I don't know how good the odds are that all 9 drivers would necessarily be inside the top 12 in points, so be interesting to see how many drivers we actually have battling for the championship this year, depending on how the circumstances work out.
Got a bit of an outside lane forming back there. Believe that is Bob Seminara on the outside there, trying to get ahead next to the 77 of Donnie Garrett.
Yeah, Metallic and Forgione, they were on the bottom. Now they moved to the top, and they've got some alliances there. Donnie Garrett jumps up, Jessica Shelton. Kelly Causey also going to jump up there. Let's see if he can get to the right rear of Jeremy Jeffries in the 1 truck. Jeremy Jeffries, a member, was involved, I believe, in that last caution, that stack up there over in turn 1. Nice recovery there for the pole sitter.
Yep, and here comes the outside. Oh, the Donnie Garrett looks moved up a little high, like he almost missed the entry of the corner a little bit. That's going to slow a little bit of the momentum down, but we'll see him. We should be able to see him get a better run off the corner here. Now you're going to see these trucks try to kind of side draft, if you will. Well, side draft doesn't exactly exist in NR 2003, but the pinching
Yes.
is really what gets some people to kind of what's the word I'm looking for here, Seth?
Breathe the throttle.
Exactly.
At inside line, you breathe the throttle with that pushing up through the center of the corner and off the corner, because you don't want to make contact with that truck on the outside. But that truck on the outside, it's kind of the old montage, you pinch, you pay. If that truck on the inside decides not to lift and pushes up into you, you're going to be the one that's going up into the outside wall. So it's a risk reward. And I just noticed this, and big shout out to Rodney Sullins, who's the painter of a lot of the trucks in the field. I saw just moments ago when we had that side pan shot of the number 1 of Jeremy Jeffries. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he's got the metallic number on the side of that truck. That thing, that is cool. How he got a metallic layer on the NCTS 09, I have no idea, but kudos to Rodney Sullins. Very, very talented painter.
As you see there to the outside of the 88 car, they're not making up a lot of ground, but they are doing it slowly but surely. Now, Donnie Garrett's going to go back to the inside.
Yeah, somebody just jumped up to the top there. I think that was Doug Woolley. And then the 77 shifted from top to bottom, so a little moving and shaking inside of the top 15.
That could give a big bump if they can take it in the right spot to the outside lane, though.
I'm almost wondering if maybe somebody might want to try forming an inside line, because if you could get that middle line broken up enough, it might have enough numbers, enough momentum to be able to make the 3 wide that we saw in the early portion of this race, as who nearly had some contact back there between a couple of Dodges, Bernie Mobbs, and Wiley Coate.
Oh.
They were able to keep it together, though.
We've got 17 laps to go, about 16 and a half now, so if a caution does come out, or if anything, regardless, these drivers are in the window to make it the rest of the way.
So remember, we ended up having a number of drivers sustain some pretty good damage in that last wreck. And looks like a few of them may have suffered that dreaded aero damage. Tom Dixon is currently running 15 seconds behind the race leaders. Dave Melson 23 seconds back. And looks like also the 26th of Billy Elliser. He is back about 10 seconds behind this lead pack. I think Elliser's damage, though, came from the very first caution. So he has been nursing that KFC machine around the racetrack pretty much ever since the start of this evening. He'd been able to stay up in the lead pack up until this point, but now, if this thing remains green, all 3 of those drivers could be found off the lead lap by the conclusion of this race. Makes me a little nervous when I just saw that going into turn 3, Michael. Very little space between the front and back bumpers of the top 4 or 5. We've already seen the after effects of chain bumping that brought out the most recent yellow flag there with the contact between Glenn Harris and Bobby Farrell. Little risky here for these drivers that are up at the front.
Yeah, it is, and everyone's starting to get single file now, which means I wonder if they're kind of approaching possible pit stops.
Yeah, we went back green. I believe it was on lap 46. So closing in, I think it was 21 to go. Means that these drivers, they would have to start thinking about coming to pit lane somewhere. Actually, correction, that would have been, did I say 21 to go? That was wrong. That would have been 27 to go. My apologies on that, which means that they're going to have to start thinking about coming to pit road. It looks like somewhere in the region of around the lap 60 mark.
Possibly, yeah. I was just informed that one of these drivers out there are roughly about 8 laps projected, so we could see him
there
come
you
in.
go, right on the 60 mark then, right on that number.
Yeah, but we could see him come in a lap or so early, you know, and you're talking probably no tires and maybe a can of gas.
Here's the interesting thing about that too. Let's say that, let's use that lap 60 as the benchmark. That's about 2 laps away from the proverbial point of no return as well. It's a question of which flag would we maybe be racing to after the pit stop cycle is completed. Is it potentially the caution flag to end the race under yellow, or is it that white flag, which then it's raced back to the checkers no matter what?
Well, you also got to think too, is the caution going to come out when these drivers come down pit road? We
Right.
saw it earlier.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that threw a monkey wrench into that cycle green flag pit stops with a
even
bunch of
then,
drivers
what do
not
you
able
do?
to take service.
If a caution comes out, what do you do then? Same thing. 1 can, no tire. 1 can, no tires. Try to get out as fast as you got in.
Yeah, I would think so. some mind games there, but we haven't gotten to that point just yet. We may not get to that point at all. Saw Dave Melson in the 38. He's gotten lapped now off the pace after sustaining damage from the most recent yellow. Oh, do we have an inside line maybe forming? Nofsker showed the nose.
Oh, yeah, there
Ronnie
we go.
Sullins.
He's thought about it.
Boy, they're playing a little cat and mouse right now up inside this top 5, top 6. Sullins and Nofsker both kind of peeking out there between 3 and 4.
Well, if an inside line forms, then you know that these leaders have no choice but to go down there because they're going to want the inside when they have to come down pit road.
A good point. Might be trying to maybe test the waters of positioning yourself to get down to that yellow line in preparation for pit stops. Again, a couple of drivers kind of leaning towards that yellow line going into turn 1. Saw Grant Wesley kind of migrating down there. Donnie Garrett. Ooh, Josh Metallic's going to get shuffled out of line in the 39 car.
I think the 88, yep, there we go, right there.
There we go.
88 was trying to make a motion. Hey, let's get to the inside here.
Now McClure's going to lead it.
Yep, now McClure's going to lead it. The 84, I'm surprised those two decided to stay. Well, the 38 had no choice, but I'm honestly surprised that Dante didn't cut down as quickly as he could have.
Here's the thing. Did Dante maybe not want to cut down? Remember, he's been out in front the entirety of this run. He's been using up the most fuel. If he's planning on coming to pit road with these guys, he's got to save something. Getting back in the draft, there's Bernie Mobbs. Big save there through the tri-oval. He's going to hang on to it. He'll lose about 3 or 4 positions, but nice job there hanging on to that Dodge Ram.
Absolutely.
Woo! I'm honestly not certain if he had spun, if that would have brought out the yellow. That would have been pretty close to that yellow line, and spins below the yellow line more often than not do not bring out a caution.
Got 11, or we got about 10 and a half laps to go. This is going to be interesting. When do these cars, I'm seeing stuff light up now.
And here they come. Wow.
Keep an eye on them.
McClure, Wesley, Nofsker. Oh, man, they were flying into pit road there. Donnie Garrett, Brian Schilling, Kelly Causey, Milt Surratt, Wiley Coate, Ron Hagelin, Ken Roberts. The drivers participating in the first group to hit pit road. Now, they've got to be planning that this thing is going to be going green to the end, coming to pit road as early as they are, because, again, most of these drivers project that they should be able to go another 3 laps on fuel, but I think I'm seeing some more radios lighting up, so I think we're going to have another group coming to pit road this time by. Oh, wreck! Terry Bombard, hard into the wall.
And there you go, right there.
Oh, there's more. Paglia. Oh, big hit there for John Godfrey. Doug Woolley. Josh Metallic. Glenn Harris. Paglia's in this one as well. Second wreck he's been involved in tonight. Big, big hits. The caution is out. Jeremy Jeffries, the pole sitter, leads us back to the caution. We will get back green flag racing, and this is huge for the drivers that were already on pit road and had already taken service.
So just got word. So Terry Bombard, he I don't know if his game alt tabbed or something happened to make his game alt tab suddenly slowed down and got ran into.
Go back and take a look. John Godfrey will not reach the conclusion of this race. He's already taken it back behind the wall. Seen a couple of drivers that are trapped behind the pace truck. Milt Surratt and Ron Hagelin. I believe they were on the lead lap at the time of yellow, but they may not have come off pit road until after the pace truck had left its designated spot at the entrance, or actually the exit, I should say, of pit road. Get your replay of what happened here with Terry Bombard.
I don't know if his game alt tabbed or something, but you see him momentarily disappear, and then when he comes back, and then when he comes back, he's suddenly losing all of that speed.
Boy, off the nose of Bob Seminara, Jessica Shelton, nice job avoiding, and then you had other drivers further up take some big hits, and Paglia, Godfrey, Woolley, Harris, and Metallic. Take a look at that. This was all drivers just trying to get back onto the racing surface from the apron, trying to avoid the 10 truck. We'll drop back to the Paglia machine. And Bernie Mobbs goes around. Oh, and then they kind of stacked up on that inside line there. That might have been Crivello into Woolley into Metallic into Harris potentially.
Every time you say Cravella, I always think DeVille.
Crivello, DeVille, really? Okay, yeah, I can see it. Another
I probably
angle.
won't hear the end of that one.
Nope.
616 led that lap.
Oh, that's a big hit for John Godfrey. Those rear tires came off the ground. He hit so hard with the back end. Pretty big hit there. Doug Woolley into Mark Paglia.
Well, Terry Bombard must not have got a lot of damage because it shows him in second place.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, with claiming the incident, you stay out under the first pace lap and then pit the second time around. So I think that's what's going on with the 10.
Gotcha, but it's showing that Jerem Lewis is in fact the race leader right now.
And I don't think Jerem Lewis was a part. No, I don't think he was a part of that group that hit pit road. So what did I say these guys were going to be? Roughly about 6 laps short on fuel. There's no way you can save enough here.
No, not at all.
Like some of the drivers that I was talking about there, Milt Surratt went back around, got his lap back. And who was the other driver that I was also questioning about? I believe it was... I don't remember who it was now.
Was the 88 was Wesley a part of the group that came down pit road already?
Yes, I believe he was.
Well, and he should cycle around as the race leader. Bobby Farrell, I think, is a lap down.
Yes, he is right now. Well, actually, he's on the tail end of the lead lap, so he should get the wave around here once the lights go out atop the pace truck, which means that, again, there will be no lucky dogs. All drivers are currently scored on the lead lap, 36 of them in total. I mentioned this last week as well. We ended up having quite a number of cautions last week, granted, but for having as big a field as we did, a good majority of the field take the checkered flag on the lead lap. Same deal here tonight. Only 4 drivers back in the garage area. John Godfrey, Keith Bynum, Jim Black, and Jim Gloud. The 36 remaining drivers all running and still in the lead lap.
Maybe we'll have a lucky dog. The 038's 1 lap down.
Okay, my scoring has not updated on that then. So... yeah, he probably then would be the free pass. My scoring has him on the tail end lead lap unless he just came to pit road. Yeah, here he comes. Yep, you're right. He would be the lucky dog driver. And then Farrell would get the wave around. That would turn the race lead. Well, doesn't turn the race lead, is the race leader. Grant Wesley. Yeah. Good job, me. Knopfsker would be second. And Donnie Grid, Kelly Causey, Brian Schilling, the top 5. Been a quiet night for the Square D Dodge of Brian Schilling. We haven't mentioned his name very much here.
If you're not, you should double check and make sure you're live.
Yep.
Okay, I was going to say it because you said he was coming down pit road, and here he is on the outside waiting to go around the pace car.
Well, I said he was coming down pit road because my scoring was showing him on the tail end of the lead lap. So I assumed he had come down pit road since you said he was scored a lap down because the leader would have passed him.
They'll be getting the 1 to go signal, which means we should be going back green on lap 62 of 66. And Seth, that could be the last time we go back under green flag.
Completion of that 60-second lap would more than likely be the point of no return. We saw last week, we saw that race. And under the caution flag, however, we ended up having it take place just past the start-finish line. So the leaders did have about 2.5 miles to be able to try and make something happen, though we did hear that they weren't able to get up to full song, so there really was no momentum to be able to make a move. We'll have to see if a caution comes out during the point of no return here tonight. At what area of the racetracks are the leaders at? Had we just gone back green? Are we up to full song? That's going to be some of the things we'll have to keep an eye on. And we'll give the disclaimer here that we normally do. When we cross over to that point of no return, next flag does end the race, and it is race back. So we will stay at the front. We will watch the battle back to either the official checkered flag or the proverbial checkered flag, be it the caution. and then we will go back and look at the incidents either under caution pacing or post-race.
Under pace and caution.
What did I say?
No, you had it right. I was just messing with you.
Okay, well, you definitely messed with me because I've been known to have verbal dyslexia, so...
I think I do too. It's okay. Interesting to see Grant Wesley again. Pod Piper back up in the front at the 88, and then the 088 on the outside. We'll see if Donnie can push the 88 clear, and how long it will take. Maybe you see these 88 and 088 work together on the outside lane, and I don't know, Seth. This should be a very interesting finish. Hope they make it under green.
I asked you the question before we went green.
Yes.
Second race of the season, what mentality do you have? And you said, go for that win. So, knowing that the potential point of no return is looming, maybe a caution will end this race. At what point do you start getting selfish?
Yep. I can't wait to see how this. I really hope it ends on the green as the pace check comes in. And the mentality you got to have here, Seth, the answer is yes.
Yes. If there's a hole, you take it. Grant Wesley. Boy, what a interesting night he's had. Connection issues the very first lap of this race, but now, typical Grant Wesley fashion, up front when it matters the most, he's going to lead us back to the green. Going to be five laps to go.
Blown engine. I think
Tom
there was
Dixon?
somebody blew. I saw smoke coming out, and everyone was able to avoid it, looks like, for the time being.
We stayed green.
I thought maybe it might have been the 10 or somebody, but I saw smoke coming out of another, unless that was maybe like shift up to third gear type of smoke or something, like wheel spin maybe.
That could have been. I'm almost wondering if it might have been wheel spin from first to third by Tom Dixon, because remember, he lost a gear.
It very well could have been, but it looked like maybe somebody had blown an engine.
Like everybody is still on the racetrack. Nobody pulled off onto the apron. If we had had a blown engine for a long enough period of time on the racing surface, it probably would round a yellow. And how about Kelly Causey? How about 3 wide there? Ken Roberts going to help him. Whoa, Wiley Coate! Loose there in the tri-oval. Nice save.
Oh, my
Right
heart.
in the middle of 3 wide.
My heart, I couldn't take it.
Woo.
Grant comes down to block the 77 of Donnie Garrett, but oh my gosh.
Donnie searching top, dropping to the bottom.
He should have went to the top. Right now, go to the top. That's your best bet.
Is he going to go up there?
No,
Kelly Causey's got the push.
He had too much momentum. Look at the
Kelly
third lane
Causey's
trying
got
to get
Roberts, Dante Ricky, Rodney Sullins. We heard from Dante. He's going to be working with Rodney here in the closing stages. 77, a little squirrely there. Second truck on the inside line. And we're in the point of no return. Next flag ends the race.
Seth, I'm telling you, my heart's up.
Look at some of these drivers we've got up here. We had that Cinderella story one season ago when we came here to BSR with Doug Cady. We got the 007. I'm sorry, correction, Doug Hewlick, rather. We got Doug Cady, the other Doug, in the 007 Napa machine. I don't think a Cadillac has ever won an RTG Talladega Challenge race. This could be the night.
We'll see. He's in the middle lane right now. Grant Wesley able to hold it now. We'll see if they stay to the inside.
Grant Wesley, one of the best in the business when it comes to blocking. He's got to see where the momentum's coming from. Right now, it's up on the extreme outside line with Kelly Causey and Ken Roberts about 2 truck lengths back. That inside line currently's got the momentum. Top 3, they're clear. Maybe the top 4 with Tim Nofsker. As this time by, we're going to hit the line for 2 laps to go at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway.
Which is theoretically just Talladega with blue walls.
The momentum is not there for the middle lane. Now,
Seth,
Causey and Roberts move down to the middle line.
This might be the last lap on the green.
This could potentially be. If you're Donnie Garrett, how long do you wait? Brian Schilling right there. If he makes a move, does Nofsker go with him? Jeremy Jeffries there in 5th, trying to go coast to coast, pole to win here tonight.
77 thought about looking up to the outside, maybe try to fake Grant Wesley out, but he stayed right to the inside.
Rodney Sullins jumped up to the 3rd lane. I think he picked up Bob Seminara.
All right, boys, just make it back to the green or to the white flag. That's all you got to do.
They got 1 corner and a tri-oval to do it. The start-finish line midway between the tri-oval down to turn 1. Jeremy Jeffries now up to the top. He's going to pick up Kelly Causey alongside of Nofsker. That's for the 4th position. White flag in the air this
They made
time.
it.
Next flag ends
Brian
the
Schilling.
race.
Brian Schilling now to the outside.
The former champ Brian Schilling picking up Jeremy Jeffries. He's got a good run here. He's alongside Donnie Garrett.
Grant's got to go to the outside. He's got to do it now.
Here comes the momentum with the 4. Does the 88 move up? Does he stay on the bottom? Oh, Jeremy Jeffries into Donnie Garrett. It's side by side as the 77 is up and over. The 1 is up and over. We've got about a half dozen trucks on their roof. We're racing back. Grant Wesley, no help. Here comes Dante Ricky with a push. Kelly Causey and Craig Palmer there in 4th and 5th.
Oh, he's going to try the outside. This is going to be a good
go?
run.
Grant's got a push from Dante. Looks low. Brian gave him the position. He didn't block him. Door bang.
Wesley
Grant
got
Wesley. He's got it. Grant Wesley's going to win.
And Dante just got second.
I'm not certain how Grant was able to find that lane down there. He had about half a lane to work with. I don't know if Schilling just couldn't throw the block or if he gave Wesley the lane so they both didn't wreck. But Grant Wesley, there's no such thing as a dive bomb at Talladega, but that was about as close to a dive bomb as you can get without having those left sides over the yellow line through the tri-oval. And Grant made it work. He'll pick up his first win on the season here tonight at BSR.
That looked like Tony Stewart 2012 at Talladega, the way they were all wrecked on the back straightaway there. A bad bump. It was a bad bump. Jeremy Jeffries got a bad bump, turned him down into everybody else, and then just right there, then the 77 looked almost like Tony Stewart at Daytona, actually, 2001.
I lost count at 5 trucks that were upside down. The 77, the 1, the 17.
55, the 17, the 31.
And while we were watching this battle back to the line for the checkered flag, there was also a very interesting battle of all the drivers that wrecked there on the back straightaway, all trying to limp it back to the start-finish line to pick up as good of finishing positions as they possibly could.
The wreck was so intense it caused my game to crash.
Your game flipped upside down as well. Add that to the flip counter.
Yep.
Let's take a look back here after Grant Wesley completes his burnouts of that final lap. Dante Ricky got 2nd. Brian Schilling 3rd. Kelly Causey, who was tied for leading the most laps here tonight, along with Dante Ricky, 17 apiece, gets 4th. And Greg Palmer, how about that? Kind of a little bit from out of nowhere here for driver 22, as he'll bring it home in the 5th position. Let's go back.
Yeah, look at this wreck.
See what happened on the back straightaway.
I'm pretty sure it was a bad bump. It was like a bumper grab. It was like a bumper grab situation. Maybe it's like a chain. You know how when you do the chain bump and one of them, and then somebody gets like sideways because of it. I think that was the reason. But honestly, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, it's racing with a 40 plus car field at Talladega. Everyone's gonna go for it. You're not gonna lift on the last lap. You know, whatever happens happens. They made it.
Look at the 31 of Bernie Mobbs. Oh my gosh, he actually flipped back on his wheels, pointed the right direction, and kept going.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're in it, but I made it.
We're in it, but we're out of it.
Hey,
and
I mean,
where did he
end up coming across the line at, though? That's a good question.
31, 16th.
Oh, he really did. Wow, I'm watching that. He did a couple of flips and then just grabbed a gear and kept going.
Find the 17 of Chuck McClure. I know he went up and over.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things. I'm telling you, it's restrictor plate racing. You can't get mad, you know, as a race car driver, you cannot get mad when stuff like that happens. It's the whole point. It's every man for himself. You're out there trying to get every spot you can do. Smart, quote unquote, smart racing goes out the window. Like, you're literally just trying to fight for every spot you can get, take every shot you can. And because of one little mishap of a bad bump or a chain bump, which happens a lot in this game, you know, melee takes place. So
we got to do it. We got to take the onboard with Bernie Mobbs.
You've got to do it.
We got to take the onboard with Bernie Mobbs. We have to see this.
That wasn't exactly what I was going for, but yes, in short, yes, you've got to do it.
And we actually just took the onboard with Kelly Causey because I am an idiot. Let's actually look with the driver that we were going to actually look at. Let's see if we can see the Bernie Mubs
Seth, stop
POV.
being dyslexic. God.
Here we go. How are you dyslexic seeing 00 instead of 31? Oh my gosh. A beautiful view of Donnie Garrett's blowover. And then here it is. Barrel roll, grab a gear, keep going. Never stop driving. Now we're going to take a look at that move by Grant Wesley here out of turn 4 and into the tri-oval.
Sorry, I'm only able to watch the stream now, so I'm not going to be on time and in sync with you. But just to see the seas part and suddenly a car upside down is not what you want to see at Talladega.
Not at all. Now we're going to do this in slow-mo because I want to see if there was an attempt at a block here by Brian Schilling.
I think it was, but it was a late one. They came down. Brian Schilling, I think, just tried to kind of side draft and pinch, and I wouldn't get too upset with that again either.
Yeah, there was a lot of ooh. Grant's left sides were below the yellow line.
Well, let's see.
Wasn't forced there.
Let's see. He turns down. Well, because you get a lane right here.
Yeah, you've got that momentum bringing you down,
yeah,
and you see
right
he was
there.
yanking the wheel back to the right.
Yep, he comes down. He's right there. And he gets to the yellow line. He turns up, and he's also getting a shove from the 84 at that point too. Now, I'm not sure how RTG officials will look at that, or just how, and it looks like maybe the bump actually came from the 84 that turned the forker up sideways just that little bit.
Oh, maybe.
But Grant able to come across, and then Dante able to grab second. But we'll see. I mean, technically, all 4 wheels weren't below the yellow line. But I guess we'll see what the call is. I mean, we can talk to third and second before we get the official word.
You're looking at the freeze frame when they came to the start-finish line. Scoring has 53 one-thousandths of a second. Wesley over Dante Ricky, and then only 3 100ths from Dante Ricky back to Brian Schilling.
Actually, if you want, we can talk to Dante first, since he, I believe, is one of the admins here, so we can get his second place interview as well as asking him about it.
We'll go in order. Here's a look at the finishing results. We gave you the top 5. How about JT Mayhew? Got through that wreck. 6th place for him here tonight. Josh Metallic in 7th. Doug Cady, that Cadillac Escalade, 8th place here tonight. Jerm Lewis in 9th, and Doug Hewlick. Got good numbers here at this racetrack. A victory, obviously, as we mentioned from last season. He gets 10th. How about Ron Hagelin? Hagelin was involved, I think, in 2 of the cautions here tonight. He's going to get 11th. That's ironic. The 1-1-1 finishing in 1-1. That's a lot of ones right there. 12th place for Rodney Sullins, Bob Seminara, Bob Dixon, Chris Emery, the top 15. And then most of these other drivers from 16th on down, they were definitely involved in the wreck, and they were all just kind of playing a little bit of who can get back to the line the quickest and get the best finishing position of those that were collected in the final caution of the night. A couple of notables that looked like they were going to be in line for good finishes, but caught up in that last wreck. Jeremy Jeffries, he was up in the top 5. He'll finish 24th. Looks like Donnie Garrett never got across the start-finish line. Well, actually, I think he might have been, but it was after scoring had been stopped. So he gets scored a lap down, but he gets 34th position. And then a couple of other drivers that were up there towards the front. Ken Roberts, 28th, after he was up inside of the top 10. And where's the other driver I was looking for there that was up at the front? There he is, Chuck McClure, 17th, after he was up and over as well. I think he was another driver like Bernie Mobs that flipped upside down, but got pointed back in the right direction and was able to continue on while everybody else was trying to recover their race cars. You see the drivers out of the race: Godfrey, Bynum, Jim Black, Jim Gloud. We had 6 cautions here tonight for 21 laps, and you're looking at the end result, the finish here tonight at ESR. It's time to head into our FRN post-race wind down and chat with some of our podium finishers. Let's kick things off with the driver who was leading them off turn 4, but brings it home in 3rd place here tonight, Brian Schilling. Hey, Brian, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a lot to take in up here in the booth on that final lap, but we followed that battle back to the start finish line to pick up that checkered flag. You're leading the field. Well, what was left of the field out of turn number 4. We were watching that move there in the trioval. We were kind of wondering, were you just a little too late to throw the block there? Was it a case of not trying to wreck yourself with the 88 making that move? Because it looked like you had position on him. What didn't make you migrate down to the bottom line there coming through the trioval?
He had way too much speed. I I kind of underestimated. I didn't realize he had the 84 pushing him. So he had such a huge run. By the time I made the move, I was going to just wreck myself. So I bailed out on it, and it's better to finish instead of being in the fence. So I'll take a third any day. As much as I'd love to win, but third place still is good points.
How much did the intensity, ramp up with the final restart there, knowing that no matter what happened after that restart, the race was going to end either under caution or under green?
Oh, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I'm sitting there trying to figure out which line was the best to be in, and I feel like I made all the right moves, but it just didn't work out. With the wreck behind me there, I think I would have been okay if the wreck didn't happen.
Yeah, you mentioned about the big picture racing there, the momentum, not wanting to wreck yourself. You came into this race second in the point standings. It looks like you probably, I think, leave tonight as the points leader. So, it was interesting. I mentioned this question to Chuck McClure, last week's winner, about what was the mentality coming in? Was it wins or was it consistency? Obviously, you said you would have loved to be able to have put this four truck in victory lane, but it looks like you're putting a little bit more emphasis on the consistency here this season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the last 2 seasons that I was locked in already. By the time we were in that final race, that I won both the regular season finales. So points are king. I mean, you got to get into the chase first to win the championship, and winning is tough. So if guys aren't going to win every week, so you keep yourself in a good position, good points position. You put yourself in a good position.
Well, a great run for you here tonight. Back to back finishes up inside of the top 5 to kick off season 59. Congratulations on a job well done, bringing that thing home in one piece. Very smart super speedway race in there on that final lap. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout outs.
Congratulations to Grant on another win. Good, hard fought. Dante, I'll forgive you in a couple days for pushing him. But thank you to all the admins, everybody that shows up every week. Thank you for putting the broadcast on. And Timmy, I feel I'm gutted for you. I wish you could have finished up there with me. But all right. But yep, thank you guys.
That's Brian Schilling, third place finisher here tonight at BSR. Once again, congratulations on the job well done. And maybe next week we'll see the Square D Dodge Ram in victory lane when we head back to Talladega.
Thank you.
See if we can now get our second place finisher here tonight. Talked with him earlier on. That's Dante Ricky. Dante, Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, I do.
Well, it sounds like from what we just heard there from Brian, you owe him a couple of chicken wings. But
Well,
I mean, man, wild finish here. We were kind of trying to figure out, once the dust settled and we were able to designate who had gotten through all the carnage there heading into turn 3, who was going to have enough time to be
Yep.
able to get momentum. You and the 88 were able to hook up there in second and third, make that run at the 4, but if the 00 had been able to get a little bit closer up there, would we have seen you make it a 3-wide move and have the momentum to get to the line first over the other two?
yeah, I'll tell you what, Seth and Mike, this might be a really, really long interview. The first thing I'm going to say is I never would have envisioned, after that last 5-lap run, I would never have envisioned to have a chance at the win of winning this race. Not even in a million years. That's the first thing. What I will say is that the teamwork element tonight. The people I worked with and we tried to hook up together. The teamwork, it was there at times, but there were little things here and there that we could have done better as a team to get all of us on the same page. And we're talking about what line to be in, when to move down, when to time certain questions to each other. The teamwork element was kind of off in a sense that the fact that I got in the top 5 was really by luck of location. It was not by, a coordinated. We had a coordinated effort to work together, but it was not by the success of that teamwork effort. It was simply by avoiding the calamity and getting that run. Once I came back up the track, I was able to get by. I think it was Kelly briefly. I was just trying to pull draft off of Grant and Brian Schilling. My goal in the tri-oval was to pull draft as long as I could, and then I wanted to make a move around both of them and win. That's obviously not easily done. It's highly dependent on when the race leader pulls the block and other things. But I feel like Grant, that's just the fastest way around. That's the best position game for me at that point. But the only thing I will say is that I kind of owe Grant one after some incidences and other things and hard racing in the past. But I'm sorry if Brian Schilling is not happy with me. I apologize for that. But what I will say is I'll make it up to him sometime too with some chicken wings, and we'll go from there. But the only thing though is I just felt like there was one or two little things during this race. We got to the right positions, but we couldn't maintain them. The pit strategy was terrible. Whole night, pit strategy terrible. Basically, throw it out the window. Whatever we called the pit was the wrong lap on the first pit stop cycle. Wrong lap on the second one too. Nothing strategy-wise really played in our favor. And quite honestly, even though I'm always happy with the way I perform, I really don't think I earned the second place finish tonight.
So I got to ask you this. It was fun. The interesting way to see you out there and everything else like that. It was fun to to see the back and forth and everything going on like that. My question to you is, with the intensity like rapidly changing on that final restart, were you thinking more along the lines of it even making it back to the checkered flag under green, or were you just thinking like, oh, there might be an early caution that was going to end our race under caution?
Interesting enough, Mike, because of the positions I was getting into, there were times I was stuck in the middle with very few people behind me and many people who could make a move in front of me. The only mindset that I had the opportunity to lock into was make it to the checkered flag. If the race had ended under yellow, I would have been in the worst of spots that any driver could have imagined being in, because half of the line went up to the top at a point in time that I really didn't agree with, and that left me in a spot where I was in the middle. I couldn't get to the bottom. What I'll say is I didn't need to go to the bottom. The biggest factor of deciding who won this race or not was the cars that pitted first before the number 10 car crashed on the back straightaway for the final green flag pit stop. That's ultimately what got people in the position. I think that they had a little more control over their fate and destiny tonight.
It's interesting when I'm hearing what you're saying. You talk about how the pit strategy didn't work out. We've seen how drivers more often than not, in typical fashion of what we usually see at Talladega, they try and go to that middle line, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. We ran a full season last year where we alternated between Talladega and BSR. Here tonight, the first race of this season. But do you think that there still is a bit of a learning period, drivers trying to figure out the similarities and the differences between Talladega, which they're so used to since that was the only track that was gone to week after week, season after season, and this new track of Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway?
There are, Seth, and the biggest thing is figuring out that outside line on the BSR track. The lanes have been widened up just enough that you can kind of find that outside line and pinch a little bit into the middle to get that better advantage. Because the fastest part of the middle lane, the first middle lane, is to go the left tires to the bottom of that middle lane, and the same thing for the top. So naturally, nobody is going to run the top of the middle lane. That gives a lot more freedom to the outside lane to move down and take the space. I was up there, it's pretty fast. I'll be honest, I still have not figured out how to lead that line efficiently. But as a pusher, I got a little bit more confident with those couple of runs up the top with Rodney Sullins, and I think he and I worked together very well when we could.
Now I have to ask one final question. Taking off your driver hat, putting on your admin hat. We were kind of noting this earlier, and I didn't think much of it, but I wanted to get an official word.
Okay.
The the 88 truck, when making the move, did put 2 tires below the yellow line in attempting to pass. So we were wondering what the official call would have been for that.
All right, well, if it was up to me, and only up to me, I'd let it go. The incident report process at RTG is one of the most highly respected processes in the community, and our committee does an excellent job of meeting on a Friday or a Saturday and looking over every element of the race. In fact, on Thursday nights, they do such a great job that there's no reason for anybody to complain. You can complain and speak to the admin, but you do it politely afterwards and say, "Can I talk to you after the race?" And I pull you aside and talk. Interesting enough, on Thursday, there's a slight difference. It's a positive difference. It's a good difference. Incidents that don't bring out the yellow are noted and looked at. On other nights of the week, the procedure is that those incidents, as long as they're not blatant, they can be protested or in a sense complain to the admin, but we don't look at them unless somebody comes to us on other nights of the week. On Thursday, it's very thorough. Every element is looked at. I'm pretty sure I hit him in the back right before the contact. And that would be pretty self-explanatory. I think that would pretty much mean it's no issue. But again, it's a thorough process. I don't want the guy to lose the win for it. It's not my place. And besides, I'm running a pretty part-time schedule with work and other things, and it's just fun to come out here and have a chance to win after what I thought was clearly not one of my best races on Thursday.
Well, definitely did have a chance to win here tonight, almost pulling off that victory in that Toyota Tundra. But congratulations on a job well done. Before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and
Yes,
shout-outs, Dante.
I'll start off with all of my friends at work and everybody I work with at WCHS. And after a great early birthday celebration, the whole crew was really happy today, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. Big thanks to my family, mom, dad, brother, and sister. My sister was doing well. There were some storms out in Oklahoma. I think everybody's good now. I will say thanks to all of my friends from soccer, getting ready to hopefully do some more events here coming up in the next couple of months. And, the weather's getting really nice and warm now, so a lot more outside time. I got to kind of calm down my appetite, though, work on my fitness a little bit, though, the next couple weeks.
Dante Ricky, second place here tonight. Enjoy your birthday. Early happy birthday to
Thanks.
you. And word of advice, when you get to age 30, don't age anymore.
I'm going to try not to, and I think at that point, my days of eating what I want when I want will probably be over. But we got some leftover food here, and we're going to enjoy it. And thanks to anybody who's ever fed Dante Ricky. I really appreciate that.
That's Dante Ricky, your
All right,
second place
guys.
finisher here
Thanks, Seth.
tonight at
Thanks, Mike.
VSR.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can now go down to victory lane. Let's dial up the driver of the number 88, Grant Wesley. Grant, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, for those that didn't tune in the early portions of this race, so connection problems for this 88 truck. Did you think then that we were going to be seeing this Toyota Tundra parked in victory lane at the end of the night?
Oh man, so I guess we had like 47 people here tonight or something like that. I mean, one of the biggest car counts that we've had in a long time. Had to have knockout qualifying, and I was just thinking, man, I just hope I get a good lotto. I didn't want to be the last pit stall. I lottoed fifth. Man, I'm pumped. And and yeah, so as you were saying, I blinked. Obviously, I didn't see it on my end. They seen it on their end. And yeah, then I was told I had to go to the tail for a blink. That's the rule here at RTG. And I mean, it is what it is, but it really sucked having to go to the back of such a big field so early in the race. But luckily it was early in the race and I had a chance to rebound from that. But yeah, never thought that I'd end up in victory lane. I was in survival mode, after I went to the back and, I caught some lucky breaks and I was able to get back to the front.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, earlier in the race, I called you the Pied Piper of RTG because usually wherever you go, a lot of people follow you, and of course that didn't disappoint here early. Now you were rolling. I think you were about fifth, I think, somewhere around that spot for the final restart at first. Managed to get your way back up to the front pretty quickly. Did you think the race was going to end early under yellow, or did you kind of bank on it going all the way to the checkered?
I didn't know if we'd get another caution or not. That's so there, I guess that last caution, I pitted with Tim and Chuck and I think Donnie and a few others, and we were the first ones on pit road. And I kind of felt like no one, it was a strong group I was pitting with. We all got on the pit road clean. I really felt good about that because I knew if a caution came out, we were the first ones on pit road. We were going to have the track position, and the caution landed just right. Something happened to Chuck at that point under caution. I'm not sure what his issue was. I think he went to the tail. I'm not really sure. But yeah, that gave us the lead, and we restarted first. I kind of did an inventory of the top 10 trucks there, and I felt like that middle lane was going to be the best place for me to be. So I moved up in front of the 88 or the 88, and lap 62. I made a bad move. I was in the middle. I seen 3 wide coming. I seen the trucks up high, and I had room to get down to the bottom. That's where I wanted to be, and I didn't second guess it. We were coming up on a tri-oval, and I made the jump, and you can't make that move. And I was looking at the replay. There was 5 trucks nose to tail going into the tri-oval. Wiley, he was like third in line. He got squeezed out. And I just got lucky. I didn't cause a wreck there, so I apologize to those guys for that. But it was just really intense racing there at the end, trying to get a win.
And get a win you did. Let's go back to the back straightaway on that final lap because we ended up having the contact up around the 3rd position. A lot of trucks going airborne. Only 2 that seemed to kind of get away just past where that point of impact was were yourself in the 4. Now, by the time we got into turn 3, there was you, there was Schilling, you had Dante just a little ways back. The 00 and the 22 looked like they were getting hooked up. How difficult is it when you go from a pack of about 20 to only about 4 or 5 drivers single file to be able to then adjust the strategy of, do I back up to this guy to be able to make a move? Do I keep my foot in the throttle to try and get the draft of the guy I'm trying to pass? I mean, how quickly do you have to change the mental chess game knowing you've only got about half the racetrack to work with and not nearly as many drafting partners as you did just a few seconds ago?
Yeah, very difficult. At least whenever, you're in a pack, you can tell where the momentum's at. I mean, because it builds up slowly, trucks get a run. You can kind of plan for your moves a little bit. But yeah, whenever you're on the white flag lap coming off 2, and in your mirror, you see every truck right behind you spinning and crashing. My initial reaction, I was still next to Schilling. I knew he had a little bit of a run, but I was planning at that point for it to be me and him heads up. I didn't think anybody was going to make it through. So I was just hoping I could hold that inside position, and then I'd track the inside line, through 3 and 4 and end up getting the win that way. That's not the way it worked out. Schilling had too much of a run. He did get out in front of me and moved down quickly before turn 3. And then I look in the mirror and I see Dante. It looked like he was pretty far back at that point. I didn't know if he was going to catch us. And then I seen he had a pretty dang good run. So then coming off 4, my strategy was I was just looking in the mirror. I was going to put my truck in front of Dante. I knew he was going to try to make a move. I was going to try to put it in front of him, get that bump, and then I was going to use that momentum to hopefully go under Schilling. Because going outside of him, I don't think I could have beat him. But yeah, it worked out really good. I put it. Dante gave me that shove right there through that little short stretch. I got a big run, and I knew if I took the run up high, Dante was going to go down low and make it 3 wide, and I was going to probably finish second, maybe third. So I had a feeling Schilling was going to block, but I shot it down to the inside anyway. He did. He came down a little bit, but he thought better. He moved back up. I appreciate Schilling for doing that. I did put 2 tires down on the yellow line, but I quickly moved right back up. I had such a big shove from Dante. I was just trying to miss that 4 truck, and but yeah, picked off the win.
All right, so I'm going to quickly ask you what I asked Chuck last week, getting this early victory, locking yourself in the playoffs, looking to defend that championship from last season. What is the goal here now for the remaining 7 regular season races? Are you looking to pad the bonus points with more victories, or are you now looking for the consistency now that you've got that playoff spot locked up, try and get those really big bonus points by winning the regular season championship?
Yeah, I'm getting as many points as I can. in typical Grant fashion, I got a vacation planned here for the end of June. So I'm going to miss a Thursday at the end of June, and I'm going to miss the first Thursday in July. So I think that first Thursday in July might be chase race number 1. So I'm just going to try to build as many bonus points as I can. I'm looking at probably being another must win come round 1 of the chase again. But yeah, we're going to keep gunning for him.
Grant Wesley in a must-win situation. We've seen this a couple of times. That's always exciting. But Grant, obviously, congratulations on the job well done here tonight, picking up the victory at BSR. Before we let you go, you know the drill. Floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the owners here, Sean Prime, David Cannon, the admins, Josh, Wiley, Tim. We had a really big field here tonight, and administering so many people, having to do knockout queue, and that can really be a headache. These guys work hard, so I appreciate that. FRN, Seth, Mike, man, you guys are awesome. Cannot wait to watch this back. Like to thank my teammates with XFM. Thank my friends and family for watching, and my girlfriend Brittany.
That's Grant Wesley. He starts out the season strong, finds victory lane 2 races in. Here tonight under the lights at Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Congratulations. Go enjoy the victory. And, man, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what you do here down the remainder of the regular season.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Grant Wesley going to continue the celebration here tonight. 2 races, 2 former champions have gone to victory lane, Chuck McClure and Grant Wesley. It's interesting because if you look back at last season, it was John Godfrey and Doug Hewlick who won the first 2 races. Hewlick ended up making the playoffs for the first time in his career, John Godfrey for the second time in his career, so you kind of had the underdog stories. This season looks like the veterans, looks like the season champions. They've figured out this rotation between Talladega and BSR in the early going. I think your microphone is muted. Oh, apparently not. I think Michael's gone AFK. So that is going to conclude our coverage here tonight on FRN. Be sure to tune in next week when we are back at Talladega Superspeedway for race number 3. Green flag scheduled to fly at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had a full field here tonight. We may have a full field next week as well, the way things are trending. May have knockout queue next week also, so be interesting to see what happens. Sure to join us next Thursday night. Next here on the Flatout Racing Network, tomorrow night, we're going to be bringing you coverage of the season opener. I believe it is season 2 of the Upper Edge Body Shop Super Speedway Series. Be sure to tune in to that. And yeah, we will see you guys for that. And then next Thursday night, we'll be right back here for the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge. But for Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, folks. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.